Hi, I'm Dr. Karin Louise. Do guilt and shame hold you back from leading the life that you really want to live? Most people have no idea how much these emotions hold them back, nor do they know how to get past them. In this video, I'm going to give you a simple method to let go of the guilt and shame in your life so you can live the life of your dreams. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you something that literally changed my life, and that was letting go of guilt and shame, because you know what it's really attached to? It's attached to a victim mentality, that we're either victimized by our own actions or by somebody else's, and it puts our vibrational resonance to a really low level. So let me explain this to you. So when I woke up, this book called Victim Consciousness literally fell off the shelf and asked me to read it. And in that book, I realized that we are always operating from a system of control in our own life. And that system of control was operating off of our vibrational field. And when we hold certain emotions in our body and we feel victimized by others and we don't take responsibility, we will almost always stay at a very low place on the vibrational scale, which looks like an inverted triangle, by the way. And guess what's at the bottom of that inverted triangle as the lowest emotional vibrational essence that you can hold in your body? You guessed it, guilt and shame, with guilt being at the very bottom. So my guess is that you run up against guilt and shame probably every day, because in this society, we're taught to guilt ourselves. We're taught to beat up on ourselves. We're taught to mean girl ourselves in our head. And we're also taught to do that to other people. We learn this from our parents. It's just how society has progressed in communication. And here's the deal. It's not the way you were born to be as a spiritual being. You actually, Spirit has shown me through all my studies over the last 7 years of my own awakening, that we are not meant to ever reside at guilt and shame. But we were taught by our parents. What did our moms do? What do we do as parents? I've caught myself doing it all the time because we're programmed to. And that is to make people feel bad about themselves, make your children feel bad about themselves, shaming them for not cleaning their room, for not taking a shower. And what we do is we actually drop their vibrational field to a really contracted state. And the purpose that we usually do in that is to have control over people. So we have this kind of environment in our homes and in society where we've inflicted this guilt and shame on each other in an effort to control each other. Well, guess what? That paradigm is over. And that's why this video is so important, because we are raising the consciousness of you as an individual, as the planet collectively. And the number one thing that we have to do to get our vibrations up and to take control of our life and of our planet is to stop with all the guilt and shame. Stop with sending everybody and everything, including yourself, to a very low contracted state. What we want to do is bring you up on your spiritual journey to the top of this consciousness scale. And that is where you reside in peace and gratitude and love. And there ain't no room for shame and guilt when you're feeling in love and grateful. That's where we want to get you. Now, let me talk a little bit more about how to get rid of the guilt and shame in your life. To me, this example shows an absolute truth that you were not born to live in guilt and shame. And that is reflecting on how babies are, how you were as a baby. Those of you that have children, think about when you're holding your little child. Do they ever feel guilty about wanting more milk? Do they ever feel ashamed because their little cute thighs are too fat? No, they love the heck out of themselves. They think they're the center of the universe. And friend, this is how you were born to live. This is the existence that your soul called forward in this life to live. You were meant to feel like the center of the universe. Even though you were told, how many times did our parents say, you're not the center of the universe? Mine told me that because that's what they were taught. I'm here to undo that for you, because as we let go of these shackles of guilt and shame and we bring ourselves up towards love and appreciation, we're feeling more self-love. We're feeling more love for our planet. And each one of us is the center of our own universe. And you're in control of that by learning how to be in control of your emotional field and to let go of the guilt and shame, because you're in control of your emotional body. If you ever wonder how you were meant to live, the emotional state that you were meant to be in, reflect back on your life. When you were between birth and age 5 or age 7, you thought you were the center of the universe. You thought you were the bee's knees. Everything was directed to you and about you because you knew to go after your own desires. You didn't feel guilty about things. You just wanted what you wanted. And guess what? The babies, they reach for things that they want and they cry about things that they don't. That is their emotional bodies directing them. And that is what we're supposed to be calling back as we're going through this awakening process in our spiritual journeys, going back to that wise divine part, because babies are still so connected to the divine. They have source so strongly inside of them that they are sure about what they want and what they don't want, and they are very certain about telling their environment that. So I want you to draw yourself back to that with grace, with respect for others, with love, most of all with self-love for yourself. What do you really want in this life? What people or situations are bringing you to a state of guilt and shame? We want to walk away from those. The mantra that I have developed in my life, because I have one central person in my life that has always tried to make me feel guilty, and the phrase that I have adopted is, I don't do guilt anymore. I'm sorry, person, I just don't do guilt anymore. So you can use that response with people in your lives and always say it with grace, always say it with love, but it really is this simple. You can choose in this moment to make the choice to stop allowing guilt and shame into your life. Now, shame usually comes up from inside of you. And the way that we can eliminate that shame, it's gonna be a practice now. It doesn't happen overnight, so be gentle on yourself. But the way that we eliminate that shame is to stop looking in the rearview mirror. Because usually when we feel ashamed, yes, we can feel ashamed in the present. A lot of us judge our bodies or judge our performance at work or whatever it is. We tend to be really hard on ourselves. One of the main things that we're the hardest on ourselves about is what happened in the past. How maybe we messed up a relationship, how we should have maybe done this at work, how we should have taken a left instead of a right, how we should have. We should all over ourselves. Well, stop shoulding all over yourself. The reason that we are where we are is because everything that you've been through in your life, and this is the number one shift in your mind that you can use when looking at things in the past that you tend to pull up as a point of shame inside your own body that probably nobody knows about. And that is to find a way to come into acceptance, knowing that everything has happened for a reason. You can't judge your past self on your present wisdom. Let me say that again. Don't judge your past self, your past actions on your present wisdom, because you now, you're wiser, you're more experienced, you're more clear. You've gotten an eagle-eye view of what happened back there. So I can go back and look at mistakes that I may have made, things that I wish I'd done better, things that I wish had worked out, decisions that I wish I would have made sooner. But that is me judging my past based on my current perspective. And my current perspective has been refined over the 5, 10, 15 years, and looking back at a relationship and processing and praying and getting a clearer view on what I want to do with my future. So it is up to me and it is up to you to give your past grace, give your past permission to be exactly who he or she was, because he or she was growing in your life towards a spiritual being that you are today, that you're growing into today. There's no coincidence that you're watching this video right now. There's probably something that you're thinking about that is coming up in your life that you're like, wow, is it really this easy to let go of this? And it actually is. Just say to yourself, you know what was meant to be back then was meant to be. Everything is perfect, was perfect as it was. You did the best you could with the wisdom that you had in that moment. You did the best you could with the tools that you had in that moment. You didn't have the tools and the wisdom that you have right now. So friend, let's stop shaming ourselves about the past, because that resonance of shame, remember, brings you down to about a 20 or a 10 on the vibrational scale of consciousness. And we want to bring you back up to on the scale to a feeling of self-love. We want to bring you up to a 300 or a 500 so you can feel good and expanded in your life and let all that shit go. It really is that simple, and it's up to you. So if you feel like you're having a harder time letting go of this guilt and this shame because you've been doing it for so long, hold on, because I'm about to give you some steps to heal this energy in your body. But before I get those to you, I want you to click that button and like this video and subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, I want to know how you feel about telling someone in your life that you no longer do guilt and you're ready to let that shit go. Put that shit in the comments below. I want you to be really intentional in the way that you're moving forward and the way that you heal. And as you're letting go of the guilt and shame in your life, pay attention to the 4 layers of your body, and that is the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental. So I'm just gonna give you some really simple pointers about these 4 layers of your being so you can move these emotions out of your life for good. Let's start with the physical. Energy's natural state is movement. So if you're getting triggered on a really deep level, somebody in your life has a really big guilt monster effect on your life, and you're having trouble in that moment stopping and saying, I don't do guilt, one of the top things you can do is tending to your physical body and go and move your body in a way that releases that emotion out of your body. One of the number one things I tell my clients to do, and that I've done, that I love. So I have 3 kids, and one of them has this foam bat. I go in the bedroom and I take that foam bat and I bang the hell out of the bed. It sounds corny and crazy. Try it, you're gonna love it. What you're doing, and as you're doing it, is you're moving this negative, dense energy out of your body, and usually attached to guilt and shame is actually anger that someone has made you feel that way. So we want to move that physically through your body. We want to give it permission to move, all right? The other thing that works really well is scream therapy. If you can find a place where you're not going to traumatize anybody yourself, go and scream it out. Go and say everything that you want to say. What that's doing is it's also activating your throat chakra. It's moving that physical energy of the words you really would like to say out of your body. Okay, the number 2 part of your body that we want to tend to is the mental. Now recognize, I think for the mental body, what's super important for you to accept logically is that You are not a victim to your environment. You are not a victim to your past. What we think has been a hardwired program of guilt and shame and regret and very dense, low vibrational emotions, you can actually soft wire these. So someone that is teaching this prolifically on the internet right now is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love him. He has changed my life in talking about the science behind turning your hardwired mental programming into a soft wire program. Once you actually accept and embrace the fact that you're the creator, you're the director of the programming in your mind, and realize that you can turn that hardwire into a software program and recreate through practice, through getting things out physically, through working on your spiritual pathway, you'll realize how powerful you really are. And we want to heal your emotional body always. So I'm a trained therapist. I used to be a licensed psychotherapist until I realized having the word psycho in my job title wasn't actually a great thing. So now I'm more of a spiritual coach, and I love teaching people how to tend to their emotional bodies, but I still use a lot of practice that I learned when I got my doctorate in counseling to help people tend to their emotional body. So if you have any trauma in your body left over from the guilt and shame that you felt in your body, likely childhood wounding, please get the trauma therapy that you need, get the counseling that you need. It is really important as you're on your spiritual path to move those emotions through your body. And if something is really deeply stuck as a trauma wound, get the trauma therapy. I actually did EMDR therapy to heal some of the trauma therapy that I had as I was going along my spiritual path. It cleared things in a way that helped me to go to the next level in my life. So look at the different modalities of counseling, of coaching, and really tend to your emotional body, because the important thing is that you're giving voice to your emotions. Before you can move forward from any deep wounding around these kinds of emotions, guilt and shame, you have to give voice to how it's affected your life. You have to speak it to heal it. You've got to feel it to heal it and let that emotion move. And then those quick pivots in your life are going to come so much quicker because you've validated what's happened in your life. You're no longer willing to live there, but you've spoken it and you're able to move forward because you've healed in a safe place. So the last layer of your being that I want you to look at is your spiritual body. And there are ways now as you're up-leveling in your spiritual journey to really heal and promote your spiritual body into a whole nother level of existence, to where you're more clairvoyant, you're more open, you're more connected to the divine, and you're getting guidance that really helps you in your life. And the number one way to get yourself more connected spiritually and to heal your spiritual body is through meditation. Finding a place of peace every day, a place of connection. Find a sacred spot in your home. For me, it's in my bedroom. I've sanctified and saged this little corner. I have a mirror that I look into. I have sound bowls around me. I light little candles, and I have tarot and oracle cards by me, and I feel really good there. The point is that you need to feel really good in your meditative state so your spirit can find a sense of peace. You can go to a place where you're just there in the present moment with your soul, with your divine creator, and with that inner being that wants so much for you to be happy into your life. And being happy means letting go of all that guilt and shame that's been holding you back, because the time is now for you to spiritually bloom into the creature that you were meant to be. So the good news, as you're tuning up your spirit body, your emotional body, your mental and physical body, and you're letting go of this guilt and shame, is that you're going to be creating such a beautiful magnetic field around you that you're no longer going to be attracting people that match the way that you're now emanating. You're no longer believing that you deserve to feel guilty and ashamed. You've done your work. What you're going to start attracting then are experiences, people, and opportunities that match that magnetism of self-love, of self-excitement, and of gratitude for the life that you've created. So if you love how it feels to know that you're the creator of your own life, and you'd like more tips and tools about how to activate that within you, I have the exact thing that's going to help you with that. And that is a free masterclass. It's going to give you the 3 secret keys to helping you hold control of your own life and activate the rebel soul within you. You can find out more information by clicking the link below. I'll see you there.